Hi, everyone. How are you? How are you doing today? Feeling good? Are you happy? Are you doing your best? Are you trying your best? Are you doing everything you can to look at things differently in a new way? All of the episodes that we've done up till now have been really about unscripted, have been really about questioning, questioning ourselves, questioning our thinking, questioning our belief systems, considering things from different angles, trusting ourselves in new ways, looking at things differently. And, it's fascinating to unwind some of our thought systems and some of our belief systems and what it kind of takes to do that and how hard it can be to do those things. Especially if we've been hurt or we've had a hard time or things have happened in a way that don't feel like they're in alignment with our highest and best good. And sometimes it's easy to let our old belief systems somewhat take us out. But I think it's especially difficult. Maybe this is a belief system myself, but this is something that I've experienced. It's been especially difficult for me to reconcile, my new way of thinking and believing and being hopeful and trusting and allowing myself to allow, right, to move forward and having those old ideas about myself or having our old friendships or old world, old life stuff kind of come up. I think that if anyone from my past, not everyone, but most people from my past were to come to see me now, and they would go, "Wow, you're a very different person than you were when I knew you back then, when you were traumatized and fearful and had a lot of pain and a lot of anxiety." And they would see me very differently now. And I think that we can fall into old roles, old behaviors, old thought patterns, old programming, based off of who we thought we were, and also to thinking about, gosh, I'm not where I used to be, or I'm not there anymore, and I should be different. I should be better, or I should do whatever. And I think that's the biggest trick of the mind, is the shoulds, the coulda, woulda, shouldas in our belief system. So I'm kind of going around here in this really circular thinking here. But I love there, and this is a thought exercise that I thought was very interesting. And it is just a consideration. So the story of David and Goliath, right? I looked at Malcolm Gladwell's book called David and Goliath, right? And he talks about how David was actually the one that had the most advantage over the giant. He was actually the one that had an advanced weapon. Giants were not known for their easy eyesight. So basically, you've got this giant who's slower and movement wise, and who also cannot see. And then you have this quick, stealthy David out there with his slingshot and an advanced weapon and ability. And I thought it was such an interesting thought exercise. I was like, well, morality, the morality story of it, says it differently. It tells it differently. But when you look at something from a different angle, from a different perspective, we find that actually David was the one who had the most advantage, and strategically. And so I'm telling you, when I heard that, and when we hear stories from other people's perspectives, this is how our mind opens up, how our belief systems open up, how we begin to become aware of our truth, and seeing things differently will help to kind of release that Dunning-Kruger effect, where we think we know everything when really we don't. And so we come to that understanding, that truth, that we can as we see things from other angles, become aware of all the things we now know we don't know, and that it's okay to grow and develop and learn more. So I got these and I introduced these cards yesterday, the critical thinking cards. These are excellent. Hi, Kenny. How are you? How are you? The critical thinking cards I find are really pretty helpful for doing exactly what I'm suggesting, which is looking from all angles, looking around and deciding, wow, what is this? What is this really? So the first one, I like this one. This is something that this will be good for you guys who need to clean out your closets, who need to get out there and release some old stuff you do not need anymore. This one is called skunk cost fallacy. You irrationally cling to things that have already cost you something. So if something cost you something, holding on to it. When we've invested our time, money, or emotion into something, it hurts to let it go. Ask yourself, had I not already invested in something, would I still do so now? So it could be an old belief system, an old pattern. It could be old clothes. It could be old furniture. It could be, I could be even like a piece of paper, that you've been holding on to forever. I've got computers that I still have in my closet, laptop computers from years ago that I'm just like, what if I need that, because I paid for that and and so think about all those things that if you had not invested money in them or time or energy into those things, would you let them go? And if you would let them go ahead and do it. Investing time, energy, and effort into a belief system or an illness, there could be all kinds of levels to this if you really think about it or consider it. So as you're considering that, be willing. Be willing to be shown, be willing to let yourself let go of those things that, even though you invested in them, that maybe they could be better served somewhere else. A really wonderful meditation, hypnotic device, however you want to see it, however you like to see it, is to do the toss, keep, charity box. So doing a meditation internally in your mind, and taking a few deep breaths, and imagine yourself going into a cluttered room and putting into those boxes all of the things in your consciousness you would like to either keep, give away because they no longer serve you. Maybe it's an idea that's done well for you but you no longer need, and a toss box. And then just go about the room and put things in that box or in those boxes that will clear your mind. And this is almost always one of the first types of hypnotic approaches that I would use with my clients right away, because I wanted to clear their mind, clear up the clutter, get rid of any things that no longer serve their mindset. And that was really helpful. So do that in your imagination and also do it physically in your environment. And I think you'll find that really good things can come from that. All right. Confirmation bias. This is probably one of the most considered biases in thought approaches that most people kind of think about. Confirmation, when they think about a bias, right? Confirmation bias. You favor things that confirm your existing beliefs. So, and that's really natural, right? So here's the information on that one. We are primed to see and agree with ideas that fit our preconceptions and to ignore and dismiss information that conflicts with them. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. That is interesting, right? You are the easiest person to fool. To favor things that confirm your existing beliefs. You're primed to see and agree with ideas that fit our preconceptions and to ignore and dismiss information that conflicts with them. This is, people will use this to trick you. It's kind of birds of a feather flock together. And if you already have kind of an idea of something in your mind, and then there's a pylon of that idea by other people, and we have the reticular activating system, which means just a brief understanding of what that is. If you're driving your car and you see a car you've never seen before, and then all of a sudden you start seeing them everywhere, it means that your mind is looking for them. There's so much deleted information from our mind. When we are perceiving the environment around us, we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of bits of information coming in. So our mind has to decide what is the most important thing, or what is the thing that it feels the most connected with. So when we're looking at something like this, we already have a thought or belief that says that that thing is true. And then what our mind has to do is it has to go and find ways in which it's true. And so it'll continue to make itself right. So another way of looking at confirmation bias is the thinker thinks and the prover proves. If we think a thought, then we have to prove ourselves right. And so we will find ways to make ourselves right. Whether the mind creates a physical issue, an emotional issue, or maybe even an issue externally, it'll start to find ways to make itself right. So we want to be very aware of the types of thoughts and the thinking that goes into our consciousness and awareness. All right. So we also have our belief bias. If a conclusion supports your existing beliefs, you'll rationalize anything that supports it. So if there is, and this is why the scientific approach is so important in so many ways, is because we want to be able to get out of confirmation bias and get out of belief bias using the scientific method. If there is already belief biases that are good, that are healthy, that are helpful, then they will essentially be able to help you along with your process when you are working with clients. So that can be actually a good thing. So it's, with great power comes great responsibility. So how are you using your power for good things or not good things? So if a conclusion, so somebody comes to you and says, this is what they found, supports your already existing beliefs, you'll rationalize anything that supports it, even if it's not accurate or even if it's not proven. So something to remember. And I'll do one more card. And Kenny is saying, yep, that is a current social problem. Yes, it is. Big time. I'll get into more things here in just a moment. This one is an argument card. I don't know if that's what they call it. Your fallacy. It's a fallacy card. And it's called the straw man. Misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. So here's the example. After Bob said that we should be nice to kittens, Will says Bob wants to be mean to puppies. Everyone boos Bob, who is clearly a mean jerk for wanting to hurt poor, cute puppies, right? And so we see this a lot in the media, a lot. I've decided to kind of stop looking at everything. I looked a little bit, every once in a while I take a peek and I'm like, no, you're the same. you're doing the same thing you were doing before, and so it's misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. Whoops. This is Tots. Here you go. So this one is after Bob said that we should be nice to kittens. Will says Bob wants to be mean to puppies. So what we do to make ourselves right is we can and to make someone else wrong, right? To make ourselves better than, make someone else less than. That's the game of the ego, and it's really effective, especially when people then start to pile on with these belief biases and confirmation biases and things like that. I think the best example of this is in the media, or when somebody is doing kind of in a gotcha news kind of profile type of deal, where somebody is saying, oh, so you do this, so that must mean you do that. And it's like, no, no, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. That's not, just because I said I love this child doesn't mean I hate my other child. I love both of my children, or whatever it might be. So there's so much in this, and I definitely recommend you guys starting from the beginning here. I'm going to go ahead and end early, but Todd had something he needed to take care of, and I am very happy, very excited, very grateful for everybody who joins us every day and comes and hangs out with us and says hello. We really appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for joining us. If you go ahead, start from the beginning. I see you popping on here. There is a lot of good stuff from the beginning. We talk about some of that thought, what am I trying to say? I don't know. What am I trying to say, Kenny? Oh, well, anyway, start from the beginning. It's good. It's good stuff. At least I think so. Because we're thinking about and considering changing our mindsets, changing our thinking, questioning our thinking, trusting ourselves a little bit more to do those kinds of things. So I will see you later. We will talk to you. How awesome the show is. Oh, thank you, Susan. Bog, FYI. VOG. I don't know what that means, Susan. Tell me what that means. I'm not cool. So appreciate. Oh, I know what that means. I think this is somebody doing a thing. Anyway. Thank you so much. I will talk to you again soon, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Bye.